Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to another fantastic day on planet Earth. And my life is absolutely friggin' amazing. I thought it's about time that I did this video. It's an updated video from the one that I did in 2018, I think it was, 7 years ago. I go through life trying to come across as a good man. I don't know if I am. I try to be in everyday life and stuff. I try to be nice, but I do try to be a good person to other people, to everybody else. And I get my enjoyment by giving people happiness and to make people understand things that they never thought they ever could. And I do try and do it on their level, or my level, because my level is their level. Everyone's equal. It's basically the story of how I came to be in Thailand. I had the happiest life in the UK. I invented stuff. I built stuff.
Put them on upside down. One good thing, when it's buried nose down in the ground, you'll be able to see them.
I crashed a few things.
I'm out of breath because I'm bloody shitting myself. It was nice building, yeah. But hey ho, it's got to be done. That's probably 30 feet from the crash site.
And generally I look forward to my weekends of total madness, and I never thought that I'd want to retire or live anywhere but my beloved country. Now you've seen my potted plant up there. Hey, I have got all the kit now. I could do live streams if I wanted to. Something happened to me where I had a work accident and it damaged my spine, and it changed my outlook on life completely. My whole life was sort of overturned, and the weekends became just another sad and depressing day, really. Now, when I damaged my spine, my sciatic nerve got trapped in a bad way, and it wasn't treated. Consequently, I got a bulged sciatic nerve, and the pains in my leg, which I still get, the pains in my leg actually got worse and worse over time. I mean, honestly, going to work was just a painful struggle at very best. I had no real help from the NHS or anything like that, because they classed me as a walking wounded, and they kept fobbing me off going to pain management clinics and stuff like that. And at very best, they sent me to specialists who didn't listen to my condition at all. When I said to them, I've got this lump on my back and it's painful and I lose the feeling in my leg, and it's just, they just did not listen to my problem. My daughter came back into my life after me being away from her. She was taken away from me basically for 16 years, and she found out the truth about me, that I wasn't this horrible person that I was portrayed to be. She found out the real truth, that I was just a loving, caring father who was needlessly taken away from her. She came to live with me, and it's probably the happiest 5 years of my life when she lived with me, because I felt complete. But then COVID hit and I was furloughed, and it gave me time to reflect on my life. The pains in my leg were getting worse. I was getting no treatment from the NHS. I was spending about 48 quid a month, I think it was, on prescriptions. And when my daughter came back into my life, and my whole life actually went from nothing, being nothing, to absolutely complete. When she came back, I then felt that it was my time to move on, because she was back in my life. Now, she left home and she moved to Belgium for 2 years ago, and I couldn't feel happier for her. I really couldn't. And I took her over to Belgium. I suffered the pain. I drove there and I drove back. And then I went to see her a few months later, and I know I am happy 100%. We send each other 1 or 2 messages a week, and I know 100% that she's happy. Now that was when I decided that I've got to do something in my life. I've got to sort this problem out. I've got to get myself rid of pain. A friend of mine told me about Thailand, and he said that the health massages are just out of this world. You'll feel like a completely different person. So I started doing a bit of research. And as I started doing my research, I found out that you can get these health massages basically in any village. And they usually charge around about £6 for an hour. So that worked out to be £48 a month. Now, I was already spending that on prescriptions, and I was thinking, well, maybe it's worth a chance, maybe it's worth the jump, and I just did not know. I was on Thai Friendly, to be honest, one evening, and I got the usual freelancers and all the ones, the freeloaders who just wanted a sponsor, and this woman appeared. And now the first message she sent to me was, "I don't know what I'm doing here." She seemed out of place. She was kind, she was friendly, she didn't want anything, she didn't ask for anything. And I started chatting to her outside of Thai Friendly, and I kept in contact with her, and I was messaging her every day, and we basically became confidant sort of things for each other. We were friends for a couple of years before I decided to go to Thailand. I think one of the biggest things that I ever did in my life was coming off painkillers, off the codeine.
Well, I think this is about all you've seen of me in the past week and a half, 2 weeks. No codeine. I must admit that yesterday I had to have one because I had the worst headache ever. It was crippling, blinding headache, and it got rid of the headache, and I haven't had it since, so I'm fine.
It took me a hell of a lot, but I think it was gabapentin or something that the doctor prescribed, and I found out that the pains were a lot less or the withdrawal symptoms were a lot less when I was on gabapentin, and I managed to get off the codeine myself. After I'd done that, I just knew that I had to leave the UK. I had to get away from this constant pain and sort it out myself, because nobody else was actually helping me. They were just keeping me numb all the time, giving me more and more painkillers, antidepressants, and God knows what that I didn't need. I went to live in Pattaya, which is a gentleman's paradise of debauchery and sunshine, where so many people have left us when the one-time adrenaline rush of the Pattaya Flying Club seems like the only option. I partied for a while and enjoyed life, maybe too much, but I knew that I'd have to stop doing it one day or I'd be in trouble. I did find a medical massage place in Pattaya that reduced the pain considerably so as I could carry on living, basically. And I found out that I only needed it once a week. I only needed it once a week, which was half of what I expected. So my living expenses were basically halved like that, with regards to the massages. And I was in very, very little pain. The woman I met on Thai Friendly, she was in constant contact with me, and I had a point where my phone got stolen. And I'm still very bitter about that, because the woman I was contacting, she was obviously sending me messages and I couldn't reply, and it took me 2 weeks to get that phone number back, to get her contact back, because obviously my phone was stolen. So I had battle after battle trying to get my accounts back, but I managed to get the one account that I got her details on there, and that's all I cared about. The rest of them I lost, but I don't care. One contact, that's all I wanted. Call it fate or whatever, but yes, I got her contact back, and she thought that I ghosted her. Well, I hadn't. Somebody stole my phone, that was all. When I went touring, I was in Jaipur, and that was when I asked her where she was, because I think it was a coincidence that I said to her, I'm going to Surin next, and she said, oh, that's where I live. Now, I've never asked her. I may have asked her, but I forgot, I don't know. But she said, I'm in Surin. And I said, oh, I've actually booked a hotel or a resort that I was going to live in or stay in for a month. And she said, will you come and see me? And I said, yeah, of course I will. And she said, no, you won't. You've said that before. And I had said it before. I've said it loads of times when I was in the UK. I'm coming over to live at Thailand. We met up. In actual fact, she came round to see me, and I opened the door and I saw this beautiful picture of a woman, and I couldn't believe that she even wanted to meet me, let alone have a relationship. But here we are, 3 months later. We've been living together now for 3 months, and I could not be happier with life. I don't think there's anything that could make me happier with my life. She found me someone who does proper medical massage. It's not sort of traditional. They use their elbows, they don't use the hands. It's tendons and nerves and stuff like that, pushing everything back in the right place. Now, I go there once a month, and he puts me through, it is a man, he puts me through absolute agony for an hour. But I walk out of there upright. I walk out of there with my head held high, and it cost me £7. Now, I have to go there once a month. You know, the pains do come back. It's not a permanent fix, but it only cost me £7 a month. She is not a gold digger. She's not somebody who's after money. She's got her own money. She's got her own car. She's got her own scooter. She's got her life. And she wants nothing off me. And I've told her I've got nothing. I can't leave you anything because I've got nothing. I can't help you financially because I've got nothing. And she's fine with that. She just wants a person. She wants a person to love her, to care for her, to be there when she needs you, as a shoulder to cry on, and that has happened. She wants somebody to morally and emotionally support her. That's all she wants, and that's what I'm giving her. And also, for anybody who wants to know, she's an old country girl basically, and she hasn't got a buffalo, and her iPhone works perfectly, thank you very much. She speaks very little English and I speak very little Thai. We are teaching each other as time goes by, and I am starting to understand conversations, and she's starting to understand what I say, what I mean, as long as I speak slowly. She's fine with that. Now, to anybody out there who's worried about a language barrier, don't let that be a barrier, because Google Translate becomes part of life, it becomes part of living, and that's how we're living at the minute. Now, if she learns English or I learn Thai, we are doing that, like I say, but if I become, I'll never be fluent in Thai, and she'll never be fluent in English, but if we understand what each other says, there's going to be a time where we probably want to go back to those silent times where we never talked to each other and used Google Translate because it was so quiet. I'll be doing some videos in the future which go through life as a Farang. I am basically the only Farang in the village.
Anyway, seeing as I am the only gay in the village, I shouldn't think anyone will be remotely interested. Good day.
I will be doing some videos soon which go through the lifestyle, the culture, what to expect when you jump into a relationship, and how you should react basically when something happens which is outside your comfort zone. Now obviously I'm very new to this. It's been 3 months, but I've learned a lot of valuable lessons about the culture, about the lifestyle, how you're treated, how you should react. I've got a very understanding partner who does understand that we come from two completely separate cultures, and we're teaching each other as we go along, rather than just saying, I don't like that, blah blah blah. It's an accept or reject. You have to accept the culture, you have to accept the lifestyle. There is compromise. She compromises with me and I do the same with her. Please don't watch the videos that are entitled My Thai Girlfriend Took Everything. Don't think that is true life, because it's not. If you stay in Pattaya and you hang around bars, then maybe yes, it will be true. Now I warn you, don't come here and try and find a younger version of your ex-wife, because it just won't work. You'll get consumed by the city and then you'll be on the express elevator to tarmac. The reality is that relationships with bar girls rarely work out, and they become very toxic very quickly. Basically, no money, no honey. People make those "my Thai girlfriend took everything" videos for views, nothing else, just for views. And I've discovered that that's what the narrow-minded keyboard warriors base their uneducated replies to my videos to say that she's playing the long game, or she's after money. I've got no money. She knows I've got no money. I know she's got her own money. I know she's got everything. So the keyboard warriors are basically basing it off videos that they've watched on the internet. If those videos are based on the success stories of relationships, then they just wouldn't get the views, would they? I'm going to make some videos about the lifestyle, about the culture, about the religion, about what you've got to expect if you jump into a relationship. Even if you don't want a relationship and you just want to come over to Thailand, you want to retire over here, I'll go into the details of that as well. And hopefully, at the end of it, one person will get the balls to actually make the plunge, do the plunge, whatever, and come over here and live a frigging happy life. I know the keyboard warriors are going to come out, and I know they're going to leave comments below saying, this is doing this, he's doing that. Oh, go and sort your own life out and don't bloody interfere in mine. I know I've opened my heart and I've opened the door for you to come in, but really you're not welcome here. And I'd like you to remember one thing, that life is definitely worth living on this measly earth. All you got to do is get out there, do what makes you happy, do what makes you smile, and bollocks to what nobody else thinks. That's me done.
Should you really be eating while you're doing that?